Hello YouTube, Stacked and Jack, we are back and today we are going to be meal prepping a bodybuilder shepherd's pie. Now you might be wondering, how do you make shepherd's pie healthy and macro friendly? And we are going to show you. So basically all that you need to do this shepherd's pie, okay, is yams, which I currently have boiling because that's the longest part. It takes forever. If you have a pressure cooker, that's great, but basically you need mashed or boiled yams, or really any potato. I'm just using yams. A bag of frozen vegetables that are mixed with the beans and the little, this medley right here. And then you need extra lean ground beef or turkey, or it's gonna be best with beef. 1 can of tomato paste. I think this is a 6-ounce can. And that's it. So beef, potato, frozen veggies, tomato paste, and some seasoning. So the first thing I'm going to do is, obviously my yams are boiling, but I'm going to preheat the oven to 350.
I have a quick question, Courtney.
Yes.
Why didn't you use our pressure cooker to cook the potatoes?
Because by the time it pressurized, which takes X amount of minutes, and then it has to actually cook for 20 minutes, and then it has to depressurize for another 12 to 15 minutes. So that's pushing an hour right there. So I figured it would take the same amount of time to boil anyways.
That's fair.
Logic. So while our yams are finishing boiling, I am going to cook the ground beef in a pan. I'm going to kind of mash it up and I'm going to brown it. I'm not going to cook it all the way through. I'm just going to brown it at this point. Okay. Then we gotta wait for it to actually. Are you videoing? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I've got a couple yams ready, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mash these babies up with a fork. I just mash it up with the skin and everything. You can always take that off if you want to, but I'm just gonna mash these all up with a fork. Okay, so once your meat is basically browned, you're going to add the tomato paste. Yeah. The whole can. And your frozen vegetables. The whole bag.
Because we love vegetables.
Because we love them. And then you mix it all up. Over low heat. I reduced the heat to like 3 or 4 at this point. I'm also going to hit this with some Feastmode mother of all barbecue seasoning and anything else you guys want. The Bloody Mary barbecue or the dirt seasoning would probably go really well on this too. But I season it as I'm kind of mixing it all up in there. This could even be like a good Thanksgiving casserole or something, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Ooh, oven's ready.
Ready? Okay. Now we can actually assemble it. So, once you get all that mixed up and good, you're basically just going to turn the heat off, and then you're going to transfer the mixture to a baking dish.
Did you grace the baking dish?
Yeah.
You spray?
No, it'll be fine. I should have did that. It's non-stick, right? We'll see. Okay. So you want to pat it down to where it's all pretty even. Kind of. This is why Sam does most of the cooking, because I didn't spray the dish. So that's going to be fun later. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, because I had to boil these yams, I'm actually going to weigh out 16 ounces of yams. So really it's like 4 ounces of yams per serving, which is actually pretty close to like 120 grams of yams. And by the time that you do all the calories for this meal, it comes out to like exactly 35 grams of carbs, which is pretty cool. So this is a great meal if you have like 35 grams of carbs and 4 ounces of protein on your menu. Oh my gosh, that's like perfect. Almost exactly 16 ounces. Okay. Cool. So then I'm going to take the yam and I'm going to put it over the top of my initial mixture. Make sure I get all the good stuff here on the bottom. You can see here. I'm just going to spread it out over the top. Okay. Now at this point, you can hit it one more time with a little bit of seasoning if you want. Can't really go too much on it. I mean, you could, but it would take a lot. Okay, boom. So that's what it's going to look like going in the oven. This is roughly about it. It's going to make 4 servings. And then you put it in. And we're going to bake it for like, oopsies, timer, like 30 to like 35 minutes about. That should be good. And then you'll have 4 meals when it comes out.
Bam. Hello. Tonight we're gonna make a protein, macro-friendly, allergen-friendly coffee cake. This is, I always say every recipe is my favorite recipe, but this is like one of the first like breakfast treats that I came up with, and so good that my teenage daughter loves it. Like I have to make it just so she can take it back to Colorado with her. So it's a little bit more involved than my other recipes, like my cookies or my banana bread, but totally worth the time it takes to prep. So we're gonna start out with a strudel topping first, and we'll mix that all together, and then I'll set that aside, and we'll deal with that later. But we're gonna start with 1/2 cup of oat flour. Again, anytime I use oat flour, I make my own. I just grind oats in the Ninja. More cost effective that way. So we're gonna do 1/2 cup of oat flour to start. Then we're going to do 1/4 cup of the Redcon MRE Dutch apple pie. A 1/4 cup coconut flour. Then we're going to use, here it is, the Truvia brown sugar. This actually tastes and has the same texture as like regular sugar or regular brown sugar. It's my favorite thing.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I introduced her to it.
That's not true. All right. Then we're going to mix this together a little bit. Just to kind of blend those dry ingredients. We're going to melt a tablespoon of coconut oil. It is important that it's melted in the microwave.
Oh, sorry. That's my dinner, guys. It's not done yet. It is
Also
going to be
delicious.
It is going to be vegetable stir fry with G. Hughes sugar-free teriyaki sauce, but it's not done yet.
Melted coconut oil. Then we're going to use some sugar-free syrup. What one did you like? I think just Kroger brand. I like the Walton Farms a lot in it too, and that cuts out a few calories, not a ton, but there's like 10 calories in this. All right, and we're gonna add a little bit of salt, so about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
Half a teaspoon.
That's why I do it on the outside. And then a couple teaspoons. Not sure where our whole teaspoons are. That's okay. Of cinnamon. So 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. All right, then we're gonna mix this together, and this is gonna form, this is like the crumble. So this is like the strudel topping. So it should be pretty dry, but we wanna mix those chunks in there and get at least all that flour absorbed. Oh, it smells good. So it's gonna look something like this, like a crumble. And we are going to set that aside for the time being and work on our cake mixture. So again, we're gonna use the oat flour that I made. And for the cake, we're going to do a whole cup of oat flour. Then we'll do a 1/4 cup of the Dutch apple pie protein in this as well. One 1/4 cup coconut flour. And we'll add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. One-third cup of white granulated stevia or Truvia. I like Truvia just because I think it bakes a little better and it does add a little more flavor. It's sweeter than traditional stevia. 1/3 cup of that. We'll do a tiny bit, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Making a mess.
Dude, that microwave drives me crazy.
Dude, I know. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of salt in this one. And I'm gonna blend these. I'm gonna kind of shift these together, and then we'll add in all of the wet ingredients. Once I find my fork. There it is. There you go. So 3/4 cup almond milk. Need to go grab it. Right. We're going to do a full cup of unsweetened applesauce. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Makes it a little bit tart. Now I've also done this recipe before where I add like fresh fruits between the layers. We'll get to that in a second. But it's super tasty that way too. It just kind of changes the macros a little bit.
Good catch.
Got mom reflexes.
Ninja reflexes.
All right, we do another tablespoon of melted coconut oil. Now we're gonna mix it up. Right, can you taste?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I think this is one of the first things I baked for you.
Mm-hmm. And that was the moment we became best friends. In case you guys are wondering about prep files, this beauty right here, sugar-free G. Hughes teriyaki sauce, it's my dinner, and it is literally vegetables, rice, cauliflower, and extra lean ground beef. Boom.
So, it is important that you butter your pan.
We'll find out shortly how important that is.
So this one, we're gonna layer a little bit, so I'm gonna pour about half of this batter into the bottom of the pan. And also do this in like an 8 by 8 inch pan, which is usually what I use, but that's what the shepherd's pie is baking in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've also made these as muffins, and they turn out super tasty that way also, but I think it's a little bit more moist when you make it as a cake.
People are gonna hate you for using that adjective.
Moist. So now we sprinkle some of our strudel. That's the best part.
It's beautiful.
I mean, it's a pretty lovely treat.
Yeah.
So we got about half that strudel mixed down. Now we'll pour the other half of the batter on top. Alright, and we're gonna sprinkle the rest of this strudel on top here, and we will be good to go.
Bam.
That is what our unbaked coffee cake will look like. Then we're gonna throw this in the oven for about 40 minutes. It'll kind of depend based on the pan that you're using, but cook it at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes, and then you just do the fork test to make sure that it's done.
Voila. I get free smells.
Free smells!
And it's looking like the shepherd's pie is good to go. that. The coffee cake is going in. All right, guys, so there it is. Shepherd's pie. Boom. 4 servings, exactly 4 ounces of protein, 35 grams of carbs. Pretty good, right?
Just like comfort food.
Yeah. Like good flavor on that.
Mm-hmm.
You could always get the vegetable blend without the green beans if you don't like those, but I like them. Like an 8 on 10 maybe? 8.5 on a good day?
I think 8 on 10. I think that's a good score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Look at that coffee cake. Yeah, so beautiful.
Let's talk about macros real quick.
Yeah, tell me about the macros.
So this actually should be 12 servings, and each slice is going to be 110 calories. I believe it's 2 grams of fat, 3 net carbs, and 7 grams of protein slice.
12, okay, let's be real though. That's like 6 servings.
And big servings, yeah. So you could have, I mean, realistically, like that would be a good replacement if you have a protein bar or even a post-workout meal. Really comparable macros to either of those.
Sam says it's big servings. I say that's average, but that's because I'm a gluttonous person.
Nice and that.
She's going in with some protein cookies. You guys know we've made those in previous videos. And what's going on over there, Sam? Is that Jell-O?
Jell-O.
Oh my Lanta.
I'm a bacon fiend today.
You guys can see everything we're about right now. Baking low-calorie, delicious foods, which I'm in prep, so I get free smells. But there's Jell-O going on back there. You can see this Dutch Bros sticker on the water bottle. Non-dairy almond milk whipped cream. That's a really good representative
It's pretty much our lives.
of our happiness, yeah. And your t-shirt, everything.
Freedom over everything.
Yep. Any final notes on this?
I wish you guys could smell this through the YouTube. Seriously, it smells so good.
Okay, full disclosure though, what are we gonna be doing with this coffee cake?
Okay, so I'm gonna take it to the prep center tomorrow, and we're gonna give it to Coach Adam because he does not diet as strictly as we do. Also, I think Ashley's gonna have a slice.
So how often do we make these types of things realistically?
For ourselves?
Yeah.
This would be like something we do for a treat.
Semi-annually, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
But we bake them for other people really frequently, and like I said, I bake this all the time for my daughter. She loves it. She's even snuck it in on her dad and her stepmom because they're not really bodybuilders.
Yeah. So this is one of those things you could bake for a lot of people if you have like a flex meal maybe. So you said 100 calories a slice at 12 servings. So if you had a 1,200 calorie flex meal, you could just pound the whole thing.
That's true.
If you have 800 calories, you wouldn't quite make it all the way, but you're close.
So like 3/4.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So, cool beans. Well, now you guys know how to make coffee cake.